Recording is in progress. That's what we have to say. Awesome. So we're going to kick off today with a really, well, hopefully easy question for you guys. And I'm going to come to you first, Laura. And our first question is, what is your favorite thing about marketing on TikTok?
Oh, okay. So the team knows I'm not very good at giving one sort of solid answer. So yeah, because how long have you got? I'm absolutely obsessed with social media, TikTok particularly. And for me, I just think TikTok puts the social back in social media. You know, I love seeing brands and like individual content creators get super creative, just showcase their personality through like relaxed, relatable content on the app. And I think the guys would agree with me. TikTok just forces people to actually, and brands to think about their audience, which is what we should be doing working in social anyway, but it makes you really sort of double down on that focus by, you know, their algorithm is just so unmatched. I mean, it knows me definitely better than I know myself, for one, and I'm sure everyone else can relate. I mean, I work in TikTok and I still get that buzz when I see the videos come up on my For You page. I'm like, oh my God, that's so me. So yeah, I think that's it. I just think it's a great way to sort of build your community, like engage with them, and let's everyone's seen the comment sections on TikTok. They're just like amazing. So yeah, that's probably more than one thing, but that's why I love TikTok.
I love that you mentioned that. Oh no, go for it, Nat.
Sorry, no, just to add to what Lauren said, because I can completely agree, but for me, it's completely imagined marketing for brands, because brands have got so much scope and potential to reach thousands, and in some cases millions of people, regardless of if they've got 200 followers or 50,000 followers, whatever the case may be. It's just the algorithm works in such a way that you can reach so many people, whether they are opting into your product or not. And it's just for visibility and for that brand awareness. I think it's the strongest social media platform out there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. What about you, Matt? What do you love about marketing on TikTok?
Where do I start? I think I put this on LinkedIn the other day, but what I love about it is it takes away the excuse of, I don't know what to post on TikTok. Because TikTok, you can post anything. You can post about your favorite hobby, you can post about your business, post about yourself, post about your humor, post about, you know, your hobbies and interests. And there's going to be someone out there's going to be an audience that will love what you're doing and that can relate. And I think TikTok's so good because it's so authentic and it's so raw, and it doesn't need this big fancy equipment like I used to do YouTube, big fancy cameras and equipment, and to go from that to just a phone, like what? So anyone can do it. There's no limits. You don't need experience. Anyone can do it. And I think that's the most beautiful thing about TikTok. There's no excuses anymore.
Amazing. And you, Melina, what do you love about marketing on TikTok?
Well, I think everybody kind of covered it, but one of the things I love the most is that it's fun. Again, I think a lot of times before, like working at agencies before, brands were really tied to their brand messaging, their brand guidelines. And I'm not saying that you should abandon those, but again, it just makes you think a little bit differently. It makes you have fun with it, because ultimately, if you go in with the strict brand guidelines that you have, it's probably not going to perform that well on TikTok. So kind of forcing you to think outside of the box, get creative. And we just see so many brands doing it really, really well. And it's just inspiring to see that. Also, I love that TikTok is just consistently innovating. So organic is 100% the hero of TikTok. We love to see organic content, but there's so many other opportunities that they are continuously putting out there. So they're new, people are a bit afraid of it, but with all this innovation, they're not going to go anywhere anytime soon.
Awesome. Great answers, guys. And I love what you said, Matt, and you guys also kind of collaboratively agreed is that anyone can do it. I love, the weirder the TikTok account, the more I love them. I've posted about this before on LinkedIn, but I discovered a TikTok account a while back called Loos of London. If you're not British and you don't know what a loo is, it's basically a toilet. It's a toilet of London. And this TikTok account, obviously they're based in London, hence the name, but they will show you like where to spend a penny, as they say on TikTok, in London. They'll uncover like hidden toilets. They'll tell you where to go if you're desperate on Oxford Street. And I just think like the fact that they can thrive on TikTok, who can thrive on TikTok? And that brings me really nicely on to my next question, actually, on being niching down on TikTok. I think something that puts a lot of marketers off TikTok is that it is so different to every other platform. One thing that really kept me a little apprehensive on joining TikTok is having a niche. You know, I don't post about marketing, you know, it's not for everyone. So I was a little worried that there would be no one there for me. Of course, the PLM crew always have my back, but something that really put me off, and I think is a worry for a lot of others as well. So I'll come to you first, Nat. What do you think on niching down on TikTok? You know, is there such thing as too niche? Should we keep it broad? What's that balance?
There's absolutely no such thing as being too niche on TikTok. There is a niche for everything. And I would go as far to say the more specific your niche, the better. And I had some accounts for references, which was Loos of London. I found myself watching videos about swimming pools being cleaned, makeup products being cleaned, horses getting their like shoe hoofs removed. Like there is a niche, there is a niche for absolutely everything on TikTok. And I guess what it is, whether you're doing it personally for yourself or whether you're working as a social media on behalf of a brand, it's just about finding what that niche is. No matter how wildly specific it is, there will be an audience out there who will be hungry for that type of content. So it's just figuring out what this is, what's the brand's personality, what's the tone of voice, or what it is for yourself. And once you have a niche that you're passionate about, it's so much easier to stay motivated and create daily content, because another thing that we know about TikTok is being consistent, posting consistently, and you can still try and adapt a lot of things within that niche. For example, there's lots of trending things that happen on TikTok, and it's how do you make those applicable to some of the things that you're talking about day to day. You can keep it broad, but if you're really trying to build a community that is interested in the same thing as what you're saying in your niche, it might be more difficult for that TikTok algorithm to help you. But if you keep that consistent and you're talking about what your niche is in the video, but it's also in your captions and your hashtags, TikTok will help you. It's very intuitive like that, in pushing it to the right amount of audience. So don't be afraid to, whatever your niche is, there is someone out there that will be interested in it, but it's just about finding out what that is for you or the brand that you work for. And then that's how your community is going to be built around that niche. So I hope that is a bit helpful. I don't know if anyone else has anything to add on.
I think you summed it up perfectly, Nat. Just the sky's the limit with TikTok. Yeah. And it's so good. There's no like topic out there which someone isn't already interested in. Like it can be as crazy and as weird as you want, but there'll still be a huge audience out there that are just like, this is amazing content. Like when you said about the horse's hooves cleaning, I thought it was just me. I love that.
Yeah. It's just incredible, and it's also it's a great way to grow quickly and get good engagement, even if you haven't got that many followers yet, because if you're consistently posting about that same thing, TikTok will come on board with you and help you, and then it will be showing your videos to the type of people that want to see them. So I'm just assuming very broadly here that lots of people have got TikTok already, but you'll even find it, the more you use it and the more that you're scrolling and the videos you interact with, you'll be shown things around a similar ilk, whether that's comedy or beauty or anything like that. So TikTok really is there to help you. But if you're passionate about something, you're going to find it so much easier to make videos about it, that you're going to have so much more to say.
Absolutely. In the chat, some people are sharing the nichest TikToks that they've seen. So everyone agreeing with the like the hooves. I also see those TikToks not of like hooves or like the like hook, whatever it is on the horse being removed, but I see them getting the like hooves painted different colors as well. It's exciting. I love those ones. We've got the paint mixing guy, the magic sand cutting ASMR videos. Love them. Hannah has said that them and the team somehow got on prison wife TikTok. Classic.
I've seen that someone's talking about the Terry's chocolate orange. I've seen that viral video about the lady fit into the Terry's.
Someone said prison wife TikTok is elite. Absolutely. I love hearing stories. I think I'm just nosy and that's why I love it so much. Marina or Lauren, do you have any extra thoughts on niching on TikTok?
Yeah, no, I do actually. I was actually about to say that just I think the whole chat section right now just sums it up. And I'm sure like even Matt said, oh, I thought I was the only person that like got served horseshoe cleaning videos. But it just goes to show that sometimes people think that their brand or their contents might be too niche and their audience isn't on TikTok. But it just goes to show it's such a great app for discoverability and for reaching new audiences as well that like might not have been exposed to you before. So I think that's just, yeah, sort of my little token to add. But yeah, I think, yeah, as Nat said, nothing's too niche.
Yeah. And the only thing I would add is if you have a niche, but maybe you don't think it's niche enough, especially when you're starting out, testing and learning is huge on the platform. So you can try a couple different avenues and the algorithm will tell you who your niche is and what that content is they're looking for, because ultimately starting out is scary. You might not know exactly where to start, but don't let that hold you back. Just test a bunch of different things and the niche will find you.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Totally agree. There's a niche for everyone. I think I concluded in my LinkedIn post that if Loos of London can do it, then you can too. They're literally posting about toilets. I don't think it gets much more niche and interesting than that. Amazing. Awesome answers, guys. So I think, well, what I'm often told, and I think it stands true for most platforms, but probably more with TikToks, you know, we're scrolling so quickly. If my attention isn't grabbed in like that fast, probably millisecond, I am like straight on to the next TikTok. So I'm often told that the most important aspect of a TikTok video is the hook. I'll come to you first, Matt, our retired YouTuber and content creator. Can you explain to us what a hook is, why it's important, and any tips that you might have on creating a hook that reels people in?
Yeah. There's one thing you need to know about hooks on TikTok. Once you start making hooks, every sentence you say is a hook. So I first learned about this because I was very new to TikTok when I joined the agency. I hadn't really used it before. And then I soon realized that, like you, Sophie, like a lot of people, hopefully, my attention span isn't very good. So if I go on TikTok and I'm not interested in the first, like you said, millisecond, I'm already like looking for the next video. So I realized it has to be more to getting people's attention. There's got to be something which really interests people. And then I realized that you can say certain sentences which will grab everyone's attention, not just that specific sort of audience. So if I said like, you need to know this fact, that reaches everyone. Whereas if we were doing about clothes, it's like clothing fans, you need to know this fact. You can broaden your horizon so much more. And I basically just realized that hooks are everything. So now I get dragged into every meeting asking me to come up with hooks, especially with Lauren.
Real talk. He's a walking hook machine, Matt is.
But it is a game changer. And like you realize once you start doing it, how much of an effect it has. But the best part about hooks is as well, as you see, it applies to every platform. Every single one of my LinkedIn posts has some sort of clickbaity hook at the start, just because it works. And like the way you can counter it being clickbait is by actually having some factual, useful information. So I don't feel as bad for using it. But hooks, it's something that you've got to do, but it's going to benefit the viewer because they're learning something, they're seeing something, but it also obviously gets your self-engagement and things like that as well. So I'd say hooks are everything. And once you start using them, there's no going back.
And I would say as well, there's lots of accounts on TikTok, particularly that I follow, that are social media managers that give advice on certain trends on TikTok and what's happening. And you'll often find that they will give examples of hooks. I see a lot of people doing this on LinkedIn as well, because there's different types of hooks. There's like super informative, it can be empathetic, it can be a bit more sensationalist, but you just have to make sure you get them in that first 3 seconds. You basically want to try and be explaining what that video is about, or creating some sort of intrigue. There's no point in being like, hi guys, so here we are. Like if you do that too long, someone scrolled off and they've already gone. And think of how many millions of videos also there are on TikTok. So take that opportunity to really reel your audience in straight off the bat so that they want to stay and watch your content.
Awesome. Totally agree. I I follow a guy on LinkedIn, and if you're on LinkedIn, you might have seen him. It's called Matt Barker. I actually mentioned him in yesterday's webinar too, so clearly I'm a big fan. I'll copy and paste the link in the chat as well, guys. And if you're watching, we'll pop it somewhere too. He is a ghostwriter, so obviously he knows a lot about copy. And he shared 3 underrated tips for writing scroll stopping headline. And the tips he gave are really good too, so I'll quickly run through those with you guys. His first tip was to use numbers. So 3 reasons why, 10 things I did. Is this something you guys have seen work as well on TikTok, adding those numbers?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
We've
think
used
the
examples. Sorry, Millie.
No, I was just going to say, I think the numbers really help, like, because people are wondering how long it might take to watch this video to completion. So if you're like, there are only 3 things, they're like, okay, well, that's not that long. If it's interesting enough and it doesn't seem like it's going to take up a lot of their time, it automatically hooks them in. If it's super interesting and there's 10 things and you list them off really quickly, the same thing kind of goes for that. So numbers in general, I think are a good place to start.
Yeah. You can use them in all sorts of formats as well. So one that I use all the time is like, this one piece of information changed my life, or this one tip will get you views on TikTok. Like, you can use numbers in so many different ways as well, without even it being an actual number. And it just works. It's a great way to just sort of engage with the audience.
I think there's a lot of good ways to do hooks, because, for example, I like a lot of beauty talk and makeup talk, so that's what my For You feed is full of. But I will often see creators saying, watch me put on a full face of makeup that I hate, and I'm instantly like, I want to watch all of this. What do you not like? Why do you not like it? So there's definitely different ways to do it. And when we're creating TikToks at Nonsensical, we are always, we watch them back as if we were watching them cold, as if we knew nothing about the brand and we didn't know what this video was coming up on our For You page. Would we be hooked on that? Would we want to watch that video? So if you're creating TikToks for a brand or yourself, just ask yourself, would you stop and watch that? If you knew nothing about what you were gonna be watching, would you be hooked in enough? But there's plenty of examples everywhere, and just play around with them, because there's different ways in which to do them as well.
Yeah, a great one. I'll just chuck in quickly that I always see. I follow this account on TikTok called Veed, and they do like video editing tips. And they always have like these 3 techniques you need to use, or these 3 like tips, and it's just so effective. And even though I know the account and I know the software, every single time I watch it, because I'm like, this is great.
Yeah, awesome. I love what you were saying about like watching it. I always do that PLM content. I think for me, it's really easy to create something and be like, this is awesome, because like I enjoyed making it, or I enjoyed, creating it. But actually, if I was scrolling through the haystack that is LinkedIn, TikTok specifically today, anywhere, am I going to enjoy it? I actually was recording a brand TikTok for the PLM TikTok yesterday, and as I was filming, I was doing different shots on my computer, and I was like, this is awesome. Put it all together, watched it back. It was the most boring thing I had ever seen. So I think sometimes you totally can hurt your own feelings, but getting out of your head and into the viewer. I absolutely love that tip, Nat. Awesome. Amazing. Lots of people agreeing in the chat. Aisha, I hope I'm saying your name correctly, my love. But Aisha has asked, Matt, where is your mug from?
I was just typing out a reply. I'm not going to lie. I just found it in the office and I thought, it's so big, I'm going to get this. So I've got no idea, but it's mine now.
Matt drinks 1 million cups of tea a day. He is not watching unless he has his tea. So yeah, he always offers everyone else, but he always has a big mug of tea on the go, always.
And he'll drink it cold, just saying.
It is cold. Wow. This and Prime is like my go-to.
Whilst we're sharing and oversharing, I thought I'd drop that in.
I love that. Awesome. Mackenzie has said it's like the Sports Direct mug. If anyone remembers, it was like gigantic mug.
If I knock it over with a swimming pool in the office, it's great.
Yeah. Valerie has added that cold tea is blasphemy, and I must say I agree.
I agree, Valerie. I agree.
I get this all the time, but tea is tea. I can't let it go to waste. It's tea. I'm sorry.
It's fair. It's precious. We have to look after it, especially, Brits, for sure. Amazing. So authenticity, probably the most overused word in marketing in 2022, but it's very important, especially on TikTok. I was doing a round table last night, which sounds very much more intriguing than it was. It was essentially like a little huddle for an event that I'm doing next week, and we were talking all about the future of marketing. And it was really funny because in every question we'd all give our answer ready to form next week's questions and discussion points. The authenticity, especially thinking about the future of marketing, like in every answer that we gave, so like more important now than ever. But if your aim is B2C or even B2B, and your goal is to make sales and convert, so maybe you're not looking to grow a community, you're not looking to grow as an influencer, you're looking to sell on TikTok, where do you get started? How do you start selling on TikTok, but think and incorporate that authenticity piece into it? Melina, I'll come to you first.
Okay, this answer might not be the one that people want to hear, but when you go into TikTok, I think that all of us can probably agree, whether you're coming from a brand perspective or a small business perspective, selling should not be your main objective. There are definitely some things on TikTok, like TikTok Shop, which actually has really great performance in terms of selling directly to the consumer. Even TikTok Paid 100% does that. But when you're looking at organic, unfortunately, I don't think that selling should be your number one objective. This is about connecting and building your community, and then sales can come off the back of that. So organic is 100% the long-term, probably best play, because you're going to get that genuine connection with your audience. You're going to understand them better because you know what they like based on how they're interacting with your content. But you should not do a TikTok and say, oh, you should buy this from me right now. Instead, learn from them, and then they'll be more likely to buy from you later on. If you want to sell, I would say go into more of the direct avenues like TikTok Shop or TikTok Paid. But to build your community, I think that's more valuable than any of those, because it's a long-term play and you'll have your customers coming back to you time and time again, whether to sell or just interact with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I second that. Just, and I think we all know, and you see it all the time, but we know firsthand that just overly branded, very salesy content just doesn't land well on TikTok, because that's not what it's for. And I think everyone will agree with me. And I think it's like Melina said, I think people and brands and agencies and whoever it might be, that who's listening today, you just need to maybe look at other, direct avenues like TikTok Shop and TikTok Paid, because that's where you can really focus on conversions, and that's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, I definitely think it's organic, authentic content that, again, just you're trying to entertain, educate, inspire, and like Melina said, build that community so that you hope that eventually over time they'll naturally become a conversion, because you've built that community, you've built that trust. They're brand loyalists, I think. So I think that's my addition to that.
I think one of the main things that TikTok themselves talk about is make TikToks, not ads. So I'm sure a lot of people watching this webinar can relate that, when you work alongside brands or clients that might not have the same understanding as you, there might be a lot of pushing back and forth, but we need our logo, we need our product here, there, and everywhere, and I get that, because that is part of working alongside clients. So it's about, some brands do this very well, and you can still be subtle and have that tiny edge, but honestly, it's human first, brand second. So like Lauren said, looking at what your competitors are doing, think outside the box. And it is sometimes a difficult one to explain to brands. We can't have your product front and center of every video. As a brand, that boggles the mind a bit. Well, why not? This is what we're trying to sell. But get that brand awareness in and create that trust with your audience. And they will naturally want to see what you're about without you having to create advert style videos that honestly just won't get cut through on TikTok. And believe me, we've tried and tested it all across all of our clients. And sometimes it's a good thing to test just to prove that it doesn't work. But just being organic and authentic is so key. And if you've got people that you work with, if you've got a client or a brand that you work with, and there's people within that business that are comfortable to be on camera, 100% utilize them. If they're already using TikTok or they like it, they're going to understand it a lot better. And you've got a brand ambassador right there at your fingertips with the client that you're working with.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
Awesome. Anything else to add? I know, Matt, you had a few words. If not, that's fine.
the thing is, we're working with such great people like this, they steal everything I'm going to say. Yeah, no, you absolutely nailed it there. You know, it applies to a lot of things. It's just be a person, don't be a robot, don't push products in people's faces, and just, you've got a chance to explore a different territory. Like TikTok has allowed the likes of like Ryanair to, you know, explore this new like comedic way. Obviously they've got their Twitter as well, but to explore this new comedic way of like putting their brand out there. So just have fun with it, have a try with it. You know, you've got your website for your sales, you've got all that, you've got this now to just try different things with, build a community with, find new customers with. Like it's great, but it's all like a big long process, but it should be fun is the most important part about it.
Absolutely. Absolutely agree. And one more thing to add to that is TikTok is the nosy behind the scenes. You know, we want to see what the team members are like at this business. We want to see what goes down at this business and how you do things and your personality and your decisions. Like Matt said, we can go to your website, we can go to your Insta to see the, you know, gorgeous product photography, but what we want to see is who you are as people. And we're really nosy, all of us are. And it just gives us that like voyeuristic insight into who this company or brand are and what they believe in, which I think people really love to see.
Yeah. No, they like to see behind the scenes. I think naturally as people, we like to see, like, I think everyone's a bit nosy in their own way, and they just like to see what's going on. And I love it. Like, I'm so here for it. That's why my favorite videos that we make are like the behind the scenes at the company, because it's so much fun seeing everyone behind all the brands. It's great.
Yeah. And I think the only other thing I would add, and I know I'm skipping ahead a little bit because we're going to do a Q&A later, but I saw that Hannah asked, how do we relate those niche TikToks back to business? And I think a couple of us have touched on it already. The people behind the business are the ones that you're connecting with. Just like right now, we are a group of marketers, people involved in social media, but we work for brands, we work for companies, and that's that business to business connection. The business itself is not an entity. They're not scrolling on TikTok. It's the people behind the business. So apply all of that, know that they're nosy, know the relatable side that people in the business want to kind of connect with, and just kind of, I don't know, have fun with it, as we keep saying.
Totally agree. Someone who I think does that really, really well, probably quite niche, is Astrid and Mew. Not sure if you've heard of them. They're a jewelry brand. I think these are, it should be an ad, #ad. But yeah, no, I think they do TikTok so well, and they kind of encompass everything that you guys are saying. Someone else I think does a good job on the agency side is I don't know what they offer actually. I'll have to have a stalk, but they're called Truffle. I think their Instagram's like, no, their TikTok's like Truffle Social or Truffle Marketing. If you're searching for it, it's like a grey background and then truffle is in red or pink. But I see them on my feed all the time, and they do exactly that. They always show the behind the scenes. They'll go into client meetings. They'll make jokes about their niche that's like only relatable to people in other agencies or other people in marketing. So I think they really have their connection points down really, really well.
I think
a few people go on that.
Sorry,
okay.
I don't mean to keep interrupting. I was just going to say to anyone that's watching it, if you don't already follow Rob Mayhew as a marketer, you will just fall in love with him. So yeah, if anyone that's watching doesn't already follow him, go and follow him, and you will just be so understood in terms of this social media world we all work in.
He is amazing. A lot of agreements in the chat as well. He makes me feel seen. He's awesome. I also love, is it Rod? Like, that's just his name. He's like millennial, corporate millennial, and he makes such funny videos. Awesome. Amazing. So obviously you guys work with clients and you do very well at that too. The aim for each TikTok's obviously going to vary, but I want to talk a little on virality. Going viral on TikTok, a lot of people, it's very sought after. I have an amazing friend called Isabel who runs a skincare business called Pearl Cosmetics, and a few viral TikToks literally changed her life. She went from a team of her to a 5. She's now running a 6-figure, 5-figure, 6-figure. A lot of people seek after. Not that it's a problem solver, but it can be very beneficial for businesses often. My question is, and I'll come to you first, Nat. Obviously you're working with clients or even things that you've seen as you scroll. What is the most surprising TikTok that you have seen or created that's gone viral? And what did you learn from it?
Before I say, one thing I will caveat is I don't honestly think you can predict what's going to go viral. And I know when we speak with clients, that's always an ask. Well, are we going to go viral? Are we going to? I don't always think that should be your end game, because remember that TikTok is about building a community, and that takes a long game. It takes consistency. But honestly, some of the biggest videos that we've had go viral have been the ones where we've just thought outside the box a little bit. So we work with a client in Bristol called Urban Tandoor. They're an Indian restaurant, and I've been running this account for a while. They are crazy guys. If you don't follow them, have a little look. And we'd tested all sorts on this account. I can't stress enough, for a good 6 months, we were testing, we were doing videos of the food, we were doing videos of the restaurant, which we soon realized maybe not everyone was really connecting with because they weren't cutting through. Then we realized that we started posting videos of the staff and them just being 100% unapologetically themselves, getting them involved in different trends and things, and people absolutely went crazy for it. So I'm sure everyone knows the corn song that was a huge viral trend on TikTok. So we wanted to jump on that really quickly, and we just decided to make it about curry. So we went and filmed it. Honestly, we filmed it in about 10 minutes. We just got them dancing around with some bowls of curry. And the TikTok got, I think it was 3.3 million views. It had something like 295k comments, like loads of likes. And it was just a really good learning in thinking outside of the box, even when it comes to trends, because we all want to jump on trends in TikTok because they're a good way of going viral quickly and getting engagement on your communities. But rather than just repurposing the exact same, it's like, how do you add that little twist on it that is relevant to your niche and your community that people will react with? So again, it is thinking outside the box and just adding that flair or that brand personality into something like a trend, and seeing how it performs. And they've had a couple of other videos that were trending ones that we just put that spin on it and they went viral as well. So we never ever expected it to go viral. We just wanted to jump on a trend quickly and make it relevant to them. But the video just did absolutely amazing. And off of the back of that, we suddenly had a big influx of followers. A lot of our other videos that we posted were going up in views, which is why, although not all trends will always be applicable for your client or your brand, there's a lot of times where we say we're just shoehorning this trend into this brand and it doesn't work, we're not going to do it, but we'll cherry pick the ones that we think can work. So that's another important thing to remember when you are creating content for yourself or brands or clients. What can you realistically do and what will cut through? And honestly, it really is the most outrageous things that go viral. So just jump on trends that you think you can make work, and the quicker you can jump on them as well, the better. But also, not even just for trending, if there's anything outside of the box or a creative way that you want to put a video together that's original content, bring it back to your niche, bring it back to the personality and the person on the screen. And if it's a little bit different and creative, people love that on TikTok. So, just from an organic perspective as well, there's just so much opportunity to go viral on this app, even if you don't have a lot of followers. Honestly, I can't stress that enough.
Awesome. I love what you were saying there, Nat, as well, about like not shoehorning your way into trends. I've worked with clients before and they were like, oh my God, the corn song has gone crazy. We need to do it now. But like, if there's not that natural fit, then your audience are gonna tell. I did a webinar yesterday with Jay, who's amazing. He talked about copywriting and he was talking about being simple and not clever. It shouldn't be confusing for your audience to join the dots. They should just be able to get it. So awesome tips there. What about you, Matt, our content creator? What is the most surprising video that you have seen or created that's gone viral, and what did you learn?
So I'll tell a very short story. So not long ago, a few months ago, a good colleague of mine said, Matt, if you could start any community, what would you make it about? And I said, conspiracies, 100%. So she said, there you go, right, you got my permission, make a community about conspiracies. And we got it to 100,000 followers in 49 days. And we had loads of videos that just went crazy viral on there. It was just me and my friend having like a podcast format, chatting back and forth about conspiracies. Some made completely no sense and it was just funny. Some were a bit more serious. And I had one particular video and I sort of sat to myself and I was like, I don't know if I should post this one. And I was like, it might just be a bit controversial. And it was about Johnny Depp, and it wasn't anything bad. It was just like a conspiracy theory about it. And I thought, I don't know. Then one day I was like, you know what, Matt, I'm going to be brave. So I just posted it, left it as it was, and it ended up with like 3.5 million views or something like that. And it just shows that even on TikTok, doubt is the biggest killer of anything. Doubt is the biggest killer, and it kills more dreams than failure ever will. So when it comes to TikTok, don't be afraid to try stuff. If you're a bit concerned about posting something, the chances are it's going to be fine, and it's either going to do well or it's not, and there's no awkward in between. It's one or the other. So there's only one way, and that is to try. There's so many different amazing accounts out there, which all of us and so many people have made. And I think as long as you don't aim to go viral, like we never do, we just aim to make good, funny content. That's pretty much the aim at Nonsensical. And we find that it works because we don't overthink it. We don't do it too deep. And we're just like, let's see what happens. And luckily it works. And that's just from practice.
Awesome. I love that advice on not overthinking. I think that is my biggest roadblock when it comes to TikTok. I think it has to be perfect. It has to do the right things, has to be interesting to everyone. But actually, like you said, if you just post it and let the magic happen, you never know what the outcome can be. Amazing. What about you, Lauren, or Melina? Any TikToks you've created or seen that went viral? What have you learned?
Well, just probably the one of the standout ones, which Matt will probably second me on this. He sort of works with me on one of our client accounts. It's a Japanese snack brand, and we had a humongous hit on the account from Matt actually saying something, mispronouncing something. He mispronounced the name of sort of like an anime character, and that's like, it's just because it just went massive, didn't it, Matt? There was just so much, it popped off, views sort of like went mad on the account at the time, because it was still quite a small account at the beginning, and also just like the comments, and we still get them now. If Matt ever features on the account, people are still commenting, like, it's months now, I think, isn't it? They'll still sort of like ask where Matt is, sort of make a joke and make a reference to the video. And it's just sort of like amazing sometimes how just like something so unexpected and actually not quite planned, like just randomly went viral. And I think that's the most important part. And what Nat said earlier, the aim isn't necessarily to go viral. It is about building this community. And yeah, it's like a bit of a long game, but obviously it's great when you like do get massive hits as well, because yeah, great for the brand and great for
I think there's sometimes a lot of pressure on us as marketers and people working in this space that if we're not going viral, that we're failing. And that's not it at all. TikTok is a long game. As I said earlier, it's statistically, you've got to be churning out those videos just to even find out who, your community is and how to grow that. So although it's great when it happens, don't have imposter syndrome that you're not good because it isn't happening straight away. Because, I'll admit with a lot of our clients, it has been a case of testing. We test things on our communities as well. And we're always learning, like these platforms, they're always evolving. So yeah, don't be too hard on yourself if that's, you're not getting that straight away.
Yeah, and I would add to that, last month we hosted a webinar with the Cineworld company. So it was Olivia who runs it all herself. She's amazing. Go check out their TikTok if you haven't seen it. But she said something that really stuck with me. She said, going viral shouldn't be your end goal, because going viral means something different to everybody. Because if you have millions of followers, 20 million views is viral. But if you're just starting out, 20,000 views could be viral for you. So instead of thinking like go viral, it's this massive hit, think like, what is that number that you would be happy with? And then anything plus that is 100% like amazing. And that's just kind of setting your expectations a little bit, because you don't want that constant like fear of failing or feel of failing, because that's absolutely not the case. You're testing a bunch of things. Sometimes something might not have a whole lot of views, but it has a lot of comments. And I personally think that comments and engagements are more valuable than views themselves. So just kind of have a think about that. What is the actual objective of your TikTok? Are you trying to connect with people? Then if that's the case, comments should be more important. Views are great. A massive viral hit is amazing, and it's always going to be a plus, but it should never be the end goal.
I love that. And I love what you said, Melina, about how everyone, virality means something different to everyone. Goals are different for everyone. You know, I'm building, well, trying, hopefully succeeding, trying to build a community of amazing marketers, just like all of you watching and joining us today. So for me, I look at things like saves, comments, shares. If I'm converting, trying to sell, maybe I'll look at things like my link in bio clips, how many inquiries I'm getting. So absolutely love that advice. Great insight so far, guys. I do have one final question for you all, but I'm going to save it for the end, so we can finish on it. And what we're going to do now is run through some of the audience questions. So guys, if you have popped any questions in the chat that you want answered, please pop them in the Q&A box because I can find them much easier. We'll try and get through as many as possible, but if not, the nonsensical guys will share all of their socials at the end. So if you want to, you know, check out their insights even more, then you can do. So first question, like open to all of you, so whoever wants to answer first, just jump in. This is from anonymous attendee, and they have asked any tips for hashtag use, which is a really good question. So yes, any hashtag tips?
I don't mind answering this one. I don't want to
Go for it, Nat.
jump in. Yes, so a good thing to remember when you're posting TikToks is to make your captions and your hashtags relevant to what you're posting about. So there are lots of really generic and big hashtags on TikTok that you can use, but remember you're trying to, you know, get that niche community and target the people that you know want to be watching the video. So firstly, I wouldn't go overboard with how many hashtags you use. I tend to use about 5 or 6 on my videos. It's like anything. If you throw too much like at it, it's going to confuse the algorithm. Just think of keywords that are useful for you to put either in your caption or in your hashtags. So for example, when I post things on Urban Tandoor, which again is a Bristol Indian restaurant, I'm often using hashtags like Bristol UK to give its location as to where it is. I'll be putting Indian restaurant, Indian food, hashtag curry, things like that. Those hashtags might change depending on if it is a trending video. I might add the trending hashtags in around that trend as well. But I'm always just thinking what's super relevant and what are the keywords about this video or its location that's going to tap in so TikTok knows, okay, I'm going to show it to this person that likes videos around this subject area. So just always remember, try not to be too random with it. Try and think of short and sweet captions. They have up to the character limit on TikTok now, but I always like a 1 sentence. When I watch a TikTok video, my eyes skim down to the caption. I want to read it all in one go and I want to come back. And then I go to the comments for entertainment. So with your captions and your hashtags, keep them relevant to your video, relevant to your niche, and use a mixture of maybe super, you know, there'll be hashtags on TikTok that have billions. So use a couple of those, but also use these smaller niche ones that are just relevant to whatever you're posting, and be consistent, play around with them, but also be consistent because you're trying to train that algorithm to show those videos to the people that want to see it.
Awesome. Great advice. Anything to add, team?
Nat, you smashed it there.
Thanks.
Amazing. Awesome. Awesome advice, Nat. We have a few questions that kind of relate to what you said there on consistency as well. When we talk about consistency, I think often people infer it as like, you know, post as much as you can or post at the same time every day. So I guess a few questions in one, because I've seen a few pop up and we'll try and answer them all in one go. How often should you be posting on TikTok? And then additional to that question, I've seen a few also on quality versus quantity. Which should we prioritize? And then additionally, is there like a peak or ideal frequency that you guys would recommend?
Can I answer this one?
Go for it.
Sure. Cool. So I would say we are 100% believers in quality over quantity, but there's also a balance that you need to strike because ultimately TikTok is a test and learn platform. And if you're only testing a video a week, you're not going to learn very quickly. So this is absolutely up to you. I think consistency comes from what your capacity is. If you have a team, is it just yourself? Think about that and think about how many pieces of really great content you can realistically get out on a basis where you're comfortable keeping it up consistently. And then that's what consistent is for you. Because if you say that you're going to post every single day, then you might set yourself up to fail because then you're just checking a box every day. You might just post something because you want to get that one up. And I think that kind of contradicts what we were saying before, where it's like, don't let it hold you back from posting. But at the same time, you're going to learn from what's absolutely the best pieces of content that you can put out. So really just try to understand your capacity. I think the absolute minimum, and this might be controversial, I'll let other people tell me whether or not I'm wrong, but when you're just starting out, and if you have the capacity to do it, I would say 2 a week. We generally recommend 3 for a starting off brand, just because if you want to learn quickly, that is the best way to do it. But that's not saying posting once a week might not get you that viral hit. It's just, it might take you a little bit longer to get there.
Awesome, great advice. Anything else to add, everyone?
As always, you smashed it there, but like, just try, just test. There's only one way to find out your answer, and that's by trying. And this is my answer to pretty much every question about TikTok. Just try, just test. And I put it on my LinkedIn nearly every day, because that's the only way you're going to find out what works for you. Like, we have accounts where we post daily, whereas like on my personal account, I post once every few weeks, but I know the video will perform just because I've tested and tried a million times to know what will work and what won't. So just keep going, do what you got to do, and just try again.
Yeah, and what works on one account might not work on another as well. I think that's just another important thing. Do you know what I mean? And it's like what we all keep saying and drumming into everyone. It's just completely based on the brand, yourselves. Like, it's just on it. Like, there's no one size fits all approach to this, I would say, and that always tells me this. And yeah, I think we just all need to remember that. And like we were saying, just don't be too hard on yourselves. Keep testing, keep trying. Rome wasn't built in a day, and yeah, you'll just get there.
Awesome. Great advice, Lauren. I love that. We have a few questions on working with clients, obviously, as you guys do. So Beth has popped a question in that says, I'm struggling with clients not being open to explore the option of TikTok because they don't think it's a relevant platform for them. How do I combat this?
We have this conversation all the time when we are pitching new clients, and when we are trying to gain trust of the clients that we have sometimes, to really think outside the box and post what we want to post. And it is a back and forth, as everyone knows when they work with clients. I think first and foremost, be honest. If your client is looking for click-throughs and sales, unless they're doing a whole TikTok ad campaign, that is not going to be the goal here. But what you want to be telling them is that TikTok is the fastest growing social media platform. It just give them some examples of big brands that might be maybe competitor brands or similar in that niche of whatever the client does, to give them an example of the numbers they can hit if they've got any viral videos. It's really forward thinking for brands to be on TikTok now, because I'm sure, as we all know, we have a love-hate relationship with Instagram, because sometimes it's good, sometimes it's terrible. But honestly, I think one of the main reasons is to bring that personality and fun side out of the brand, because you can go behind the scenes and dig a bit deeper into that authentic look. But the brand awareness capabilities are absolutely massive. If you've got the opportunity for your business to be seen by millions of people, why would you not explore that avenue? So just beg them. But I just think you don't have to have a huge following on there to reach millions or thousands of people. So it's worth a try. And if all of these other brands and everyone is jumping on it, it can't be bad to give it a shot. But good luck. I hope they let you get involved with TikTok.
Yeah, there's nothing to lose at the end of the day. So if they give you that freedom, just go for it and see what you can. There's only one way you can find out, like I said, and just enjoy it, because TikTok is a place to have fun. Just have fun with it.
Yeah, and I think the only other thing I would add is, like, if you go back to the old days of marketing and you think TV and radio, unless you're putting a number at the end, it's not very direct response. It's definitely 100% a brand awareness play. TikTok is the new version of that. And it also costs way less money, because one video, a 10-second video that maybe mentions a brand for like 1 second of those 10 seconds can reach millions of people, versus if you were to do a TV advert, you would pay thousands of pounds. So just think about it that way. It's worth a try. Like Matt said, just test it. The opportunities are endless.
Absolutely. I totally agree. I've had, I don't work too much with clients on TikToks. Again, still new. That's why I'm here, to learn from you guys. But I often recommend LinkedIn to clients. I shoehorn LinkedIn into every conversation I have. So sorry, everyone. I just love it so much. And they like, it's not for us, our audience aren't there. Whenever I have a client that's pushing back on an idea, lead with facts. You know, well, this percentage of people see this much, this, you know, show competitors. You can't argue with numbers, so lead with them. So yeah, no, really love that advice, guys.
I
Awesome.
completely agree with you, Sophie. I saw a couple of people in the chat saying, well, our target audience is over 40. Like, how do we do that? There is such a large percentage, I forget the number off the top of my head, of users on TikTok that are over 30, over 50 even. There are loads of communities for the older user on there. So as long as maybe you're using creators or people in your videos that they will relate to, there is absolutely a demand in terms of that age. It's not just an app where young people dance, which they do, you know, no hate there, but there are, you know, everyone of all age groups is on there. So I completely agree with you.
Yeah, and I just saw Anne-Marie put in the chat, over 58% are over the age of 25. Absolutely true. And also, we're running an app campaign where our audience is on the older side, but the highest converters, the highest percentage of converters are actually over 55. So not only are they on the app, but they're absolutely engaging. They might not be creating content, which kind of skews the perception because a lot of the faces when you're scrolling might look younger, but that older audience is 100% on there and you can be connecting with them.
Absolutely. Great advice, guys. We're going to wrap up in just a second, but I'm going to do a quick fire round to get an answer from all of you for our final question, which is a question from me. We'll come to you first, Lauren. And this question is, what is one thing you think everyone should know before getting on TikTok?
Oh God, again, how do I pick just one thing? But I will, and I won't say Matt because I know what he's going to say and he will tell me off after this call. So I am going to say, return to what I said before, like just Rome wasn't built in a day. Be patient, be persistent, keep testing. That's the beauty of it. What works this month might not even work next month at the end of the day. Just keep trying, keep testing, and like don't give up. And also just try not to get imposter syndrome, because I know I had it a bit like Matt. And like you, Sophie, I hadn't really done much in TikTok before I even joined the agency, and I had experience across other channels, but look at me now, I'm a TikTok specialist, you know, and you will get there, and you won't get there unless you try. It's the same with anything. So keep going, keep trying. So that's my one nugget of advice, I'd say.
Awesome. What about you, Matt?
I'd say if you're ever thinking like, will I make my account work on TikTok? What I always bear in mind and applies to all of life, if you don't try, it will always be a no. So go for it. Keep it short and sweet. Go for it. Give it a try. Do what you got to do.
Awesome. Love that. What about you, Melina? What is one thing everyone should know before they jump on TikTok?
Okay, I'll give two answers, because on the brand side, I think it's being willing to experiment. You can't go into it with like too much of a rigid frame, because ultimately that might not be what your audience is looking for. And we've learned that a couple times with different clients across the board. And then my other thing is just don't overthink it. Even me, and I am 100% an overthinker. I have millions of videos in my personal drafts that I'm just too afraid to post, but I've started doing it and it's just fun. So just stop overthinking it, just have fun with it. And that goes the same for your personal account or a brand account.
Amazing. And finally, you Nat.
Sure. There's so many things I could say, but don't be afraid to fail, basically, because even if a video doesn't cut through on TikTok, you can look back and ask yourself why. You know, we hold weekly retrospectives at Nonsensical because we're only human. We have sometimes videos for clients that don't cut through. So we're looking at these and what was it, the hook? Was it the location? Did we not put a title on? Like, what hashtags were we using? Every video that you post is still a learning experience. So then when you do start getting some that have some cut through, you can also see, why has that worked? Okay, so we did it like this. Let's try and sort of regurgitate that again in a different guise. So please don't be afraid or think, you know, and don't delete a video if it flops, guys, because I've had videos I posted weeks or months ago that all of a sudden start getting views and picking up again. Everything is an opportunity to learn on TikTok. And the one thing that I really wanted to get in here whilst people were still on is the TikTok Academy is free. It's online. There's 2 modules on it at the moment, I believe, that are for beginners and for if you work with brands. It's an amazing tool, really good if you want to learn a bit more about it, and completely free. So if you haven't already looked at that, I would absolutely recommend doing so.
Totally agree. I shared that in last week's PLM newsletter because I too just discovered TikTok Academy. Guys, if you Google TikTok Academy, it will come up. They have their free online courses on there now. So yeah, awesome recommendation. And we'll end on a quote from Melina, which is awesome. So Melina popped in the chat that a flop is temporary, but a slay is forever. So guys, you take one thing away from today's webinar. Absolutely, that best piece of advice. 100%. But nonsensical guys, thank you so much for me today. Your wisdom is much appreciated, and I love how honest and authentic you guys have been too, sharing your insights. For anyone who wants to check out Nonsensical or kind of check out your resources, Melina, where can they find you on the internet?
I will put my LinkedIn right now, and I look forward to connecting with everyone.
Awesome. Amazing. Well, thank you so much again, team. Everyone who's joined us, thank you so much. Everyone for rewatching, thank you as well. And until next time, I will see you soon.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks so much.
Great.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.